2 minutes. It's 9:32 probably. But welcome back, everybody. Thank you to the first of the year 2026 Coffee with the Mayor, and I'm very thankful for these days. It's been Coffee with the Mayor and council members. So I'm grateful that other council members have decided to come to this as well.
We got to keep our eyes on you.
Yeah, that's right. And because of that, just as a reminder, a lot of you, there's some new faces here today. A lot of you come every single month. Thank you very much. But because of the fact that we have more than 3 council members here, we decided that this meeting needed to become an actual public meeting because we have more than 3 council members here. And there are people here who have politics in their family and they know the rules. And I want to make sure we follow the rules. So before I go any further, let's go ahead and do an official roll call.
Councilmember Bracco.
Here.
Councilmember Klein.
Here.
Councilmember Fugazi. Councilmember Hilton. Councilmember Marks. Councilmember Ramirez. Here. Mayor Boza.
Here. Thank you very much. So just one of the things I've said at the past few council meetings, Coffee with the Mayors, is that it's not required by other council members to be here. So I want everyone to know that just because you don't see other council members here that you might have just heard about in the roll call, they have no obligation to be here today. And it's nice that they rotate in and out. Before I go on, I do want to officially acknowledge who is here from the City Council: Councilmember Tom Klein, Councilmember Dion Bracco, and Councilmember Kelly Ramirez. Thank you guys for being here today. And also coming in on her day off on Saturday is our city clerk, Kim Mancera. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for setting everything up.
Yes.
So some rules that we try to live by here at the Coffee with the Mayor is, first of all, you have to eat a donut because we got 3 dozen donuts over here and they barely look touched. So please, if you want more than one, feel free. Coffee's over here. We will make more of that. Thermos is full of coffee, and so the pods, we can make coffees by the pod. I think she's adding more. The way Coffee with the Mayor works is typically I write in the spotlight the month before. I write about a topic that we might talk about at Coffee with the Mayor. We're not limited to that specific topic, but typically that's what we start out with. I did not write a spotlight in December, so I don't have a big topic for that. So what I thought that we would do is highlight some of the things that we did accomplish towards the end of the year last year, since we didn't have a Coffee with the Mayor since October. And I'll list off some of those things that I would like to touch on today. And then, we just kind of play it out, right? Kind of freestyle here a little bit. Just know, we're not afraid of any topic really, but watch the room. Sometimes we've had incidents in the past, but that maybe only 1 or 2 person want to talk about one thing and the others are ready to move on, and we'll move on. And that's kind of how it works here. And then after, when this gets over at 10:30, sometimes there's a little breakout session of some with council members and stuff. We don't want to do that too long because we do have to lock up City Hall. Kim wants to go home. So I want to say one thing that I'm grateful for this morning is when TJ walked in, she walked up and found my credit card in the parking lot. Thank you very much. And it was funny because she thought, oh my gosh, at least you have your credit card back. You must have canceled it already. I didn't even know I lost it. So thank you very much, TJ, for finding my credit card in the parking lot, which was from yesterday, and it was still there. So thank you. Yeah, this was not from this morning. This is from yesterday. Thank you, TJ. Yeah, appreciate it. You really helped me out at home on that. Really. Really quick, I'm just going to rattle off a bunch of things that I hope to get to today. And then we'll just go down the list and take some questions on each topic. And like I said, we'll move along when it feels comfortable. New city administrator, Highway 1 and 25 progress. You're going to hear about that. Sharks. We've had questions all year long about traffic and bicycles around this community. Give you a little update on that. Firehouse. The latest on the firehouse, pickleball, data center, paving, economic development. So those are some of the things I would like to talk about today. And we'll take questions as I get through them. And so I'll just start off with new city administrator. We're very excited that after a 6-month search that at the last meeting, we did make it official that Matt Morley will be the new city administrator of Gilroy, and he will start on February 9th. Matt has a really long background of working in city government in San Jose and Cupertino and Los Gatos, and finally at Saratoga. So now that it's official that Matt has been asked to work for the city of Gilroy, he has to give his 30-day notice in Saratoga, and he will be coming here on February 9th.
You're a resident, though.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. So one of the, there's many things that were positive about Matt and why he was hired by the city of Gilroy. And one of them was the fact that not only is he a Gilroy resident, is that Matt grew up in Gilroy and he has deep roots in Gilroy. He raised his kids here, his sports here. Right. I was on the sidelines with him watching our kids play soccer over 20 years ago. So he has a long history in Gilroy, as do his parents. Parents were in business in Gilroy, so we're really excited about having somebody who has roots in Gilroy. 101 and 25, right? So for those of you who ever go to Hollister a lot, I know a lot of us that live in Gilroy, we go north a lot, but there's a lot of people that have to use the 101 25. And the 101 25 project, I'll probably get some comments from Councilmember Klein. He's on the mobility committee that deals with the 101 25. That's
the second person who's tripped over. Got these.
Just don't let anybody come this way.
caution. Sorry about that. 101 25 is coming along. It's a long-term process. It's a two-year completion date for the 101 25.
Phase one.
Yeah, phase one. That's a phase one. But what really is more important or unique to Gilroy is that when the 101 25 project began and was planned, is that we lost two small feeders into Gilroy in the name of Mesa Road and Castro Valley Road. And what that means is like when you go out to Gavilan now, it's like a dead end, right? So when you go out to Gavilan, there's no way out. You have to come all the way back to Thomas to get out. And the good news is we were under the impression that the conversation to even begin a conversation about what we're now calling the Santa Teresa extension. I don't know if that's official, but the Santa Teresa extension, which means as you go down Santa Teresa Boulevard, that someday soon it will connect to the Highway 25 101 overpass. And that conversation has begun and is a lot further along than I ever thought it would be at this moment in time.
Well, that's the thing. It had always been planned. You look at the records, but it wasn't a priority. They were focused on, 101 25, and with our mobility committee, we were able, being on that, myself and Councilmember Pagazzi, and then also Mayor Turner, we brought up the fact that what about Santa Teresa? You're closing Castro Valley, which is a huge artery, and Mesa. What about that? And it's not that far. Is it like 3/4 of a mile? It's a small gap, but they weren't even focused on that. Unfortunately, we were able to get the focus on that. And so the reality, what we're looking at, they're doing the what do you call it?
Environmental studies.
Environmental
It's not even
studies.
environmental review yet, but environmental
It's in
study.
the process.
Yeah.
By next year, the environmental study will be done. And then they basically make the choice of how there's three alternate routes that they're kind of looking at and how they, make that connection there. And so they're going through all that. So we want to see it done. And the way the project lays out, hopefully by 2031, it's done. And that's best case scenario. So that's what we're working towards, and we're all in on this thing. It's good. We're at the table with it and really pushing it. And both BTA and Caltrans sees the need more so now than they did 2 years ago. And so they're working with us to really work at that. They're going to start looking for funding next year and really work hard at that. It's about a $40 to $45 million project. So we got to find funds for that. The environmental study funding is in place.
Yeah.
It's just the next step is the big step. So, and there's a lot of projects. So this isn't the only one. So we're trying to get that funding. We're being advocates. I know the mayor, you can share about You were in Sacramento the other day.
Yeah, I got to go to Sacramento. I got some time with the Speaker of the Assembly for Thursday and kind of give him an update of what we've accomplished this past year in Gilroy, but I had two asks. And I asked to get ready for, we need to find funding for this extension, please. And I also talked about the Civic Center Master Plan as that we get into this year as council and this community decides if we're going to try to move forward on maybe a phase one of the Civic Center Master Plan, that I asked the speaker to get ready, that we're coming back for money. So, yeah, it was a great discussion with him and to get him ready for us asking for millions of dollars. Sorry. Any questions on 25? Yeah.
Do you have any plans to go back to Sacramento, and when would that be?
I do not have any plans yet. Yeah, I was invited to go for a ceremonial event, for the state of the state by the governor. And while I was there, I had a chance to get with the speaker. But we have an open line of communication. We have great, other council members have a great relationship with our speaker, right? Because he's the representative from this district. And Speaker Robert Rivas. Yeah.
Homegrown from Hollister.
Yeah, Hollister guy. Yeah. Questions? Okay. I'll move on to next, traffic and bikes. Throughout the year, we've heard things about this community, about traffic challenges, about higher speeds, and about bicycles, very fast moving bicycles, not necessarily following the rules of the road, not even following the rules of bicycling, not even following the rules of automobiles. And so in response to that, Gary PD around late summer, early fall, they started a program of education and outreach and communication, and when needed, enforcement. And I saw a presentation by Captain Luke Powell about a month ago, and he shared with one of the agencies that I sit on, and he was talking about some of the challenges that they have with some of these younger folks on bikes around town. And he had permission from the parents, and he had permission from the youth who got in an accident, and everything was on tape, and he showed it to the whole room. And this kid really got injured to his head and his face. And the parents wanted to use this as a lesson for the rest of the community about the challenges of moving around on these bikes without helmets, things like that. And what it was two kids on one of these electric bikes go in the wrong direction in traffic, and a car turned in front of them, which was obeying the law, and you could see on the video, two kids were head over heels, and they really got injured. So I think that Gary PD is doing a great job with their outreach and their education, and for some kids, they may end up getting cited. And I know a lot of people have a concern about young people being cited for things like that. And they also have a program to remedy the citation, which will never stay with them if they remedy it. So myself and Councilmember Hilton, we sit on this South County Youth Task Force where they presented this bike report, and we're very comfortable with the direction that they're making. I heard someone say the other day, "Oh, this is working so good. This is working so good. I see less and less bikes around town." The true test will be spring and summer. Right? The days are shorter, the days are colder. The true test will be in the spring and summer. So, yeah,
Question. So are we talking primarily about, because I ride and I've seen a lot of kids in electric bikes.
Yeah.
Primarily boys.
Yeah.
They're just going all the way. Is that what we're talking about? Just electric?
No, all bikes, all bike safety,
Fast.
all bikes. Not just electric bikes, not just electric bikes. Kids, right? We in this room, we were talking about kids that were, riding their bikes down the middle of the street, right? The wheelies.
Yeah.
It's the thing to do with kids, right? It's not just Gilroy.
Sure, no.
No.
Not just Gilroy. I'll be right with you, Sylvia.
It's all over.
Right? Morgan Hill presented at the meeting before this one in Morgan Hill presented the exact same problem.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a cool thing with these kids on the social media that they show each other going down the middle of the street. Sylvia.
I've seen a lot of youth, but I also see a lot of adults.
Yeah, yeah.
Walking on the levee is kind of scary,
Yeah.
because they come up behind you.
Yeah.
No warning, no nothing,
Yeah.
and if someone was to really injure someone that was walking with that bike at full speed.
Yeah.
I mean, we really need to look at that for a safety issue
Yeah.
on the levee and also the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Because
Good
I
point.
see
Yeah,
adults
yeah.
today who-
And I know I mentioned youth a lot. The reason why I mentioned youth is I wanted to make sure that people were comfortable that the way the police were handling it with the youth. But you're right, it's not just youth, it's bike safety, because this is another example of, consumerism passing up rules and regulations in a moment's notice, right? It's hard to keep up with city rules and regulations, but the bike trails is a great point, and we can pass that on for sure. Thank you. In the back.
I bought I bought a spare in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I rode up when I would bike Stevens to the trail. They put, speed limit notices.
Oh, yeah.
This is, even slower ones I'm driving past. Because of that, so they say, some adults might be some reminders that the trail might be very close to over fast. Pretty up.
Yeah.
But my bike, I'm just got blocked by someone on the bridge.
Yeah.
It's like, consider posting signs on some, they say, announce yourself, pass on.
Yeah.
So that was the things we can teach
Yeah.
them, you know.
I thought the announcement was common sense, but for some people it's not, unfortunately. Yeah.
They don't do it.
I know. So let's go to Ron in the back.
Pretty good for a living. Person that sends information out, and a few weeks ago or so, there was another city that was talking about litigation and new rules. I think it was writing in this San Bay area, and it is a major trouble.
Yeah.
Any city, these bicycles, aren't familiar with the rules, or they don't care.
Yeah.
And now it's in an issue with students, and let's not do this.
Yeah.
And so, as a, what we're seeing actually there, I think people come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
going, 50 miles an hour, but there are this line. I'm sure that, actually, you can tag on to the rules and special check that I wish you coming up with the remission numbers and so.
Yeah. I saw some other hands up on biking. Yeah, Danny.
Is there any citywide communication method to make the public aware of what those rules are?
Yes.
So that individuals can actually use that information to maybe educate the younger group. But if there's a common campaign coming from the city or somewhere, so we can educate not only us, but also the kids. So we
they-
have to be on the same page with what the expectation.
Yeah, communications and engagement did some of these releases that I wouldn't call it a campaign, but I would call it engagement. So maybe it needs to get to a campaign level, maybe not. But she did engagement on the website, and then Gary PD is going to almost every school. They're going from school to school, talking to the kids. So, yeah.
Okay, campaign, the ones I've seen don't begin to cover bicycle safety.
Yeah.
Number two, bicycles on sidewalks, because it's pedestrian most of the time.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
bicycles on sidewalks, scooters on sidewalks, that's the e-bikes are even worse.
Yeah.
It's silent,
Yes.
coming up behind you.
Yeah.
They are announcing themselves, they
Yeah.
don't slow down.
Yeah.
The last one was walking down here today, I had the opportunity to observe about a dozen cars, not a one of them stopped, they stopped something. They all roll through, everyone.
It's a challenge, right? It's a
They
challenge.
slowed down at all. The slow point was on top of the sidewalk, we had walking past the car.
Yeah. In the back, Brian.
Not 100% sure where I saw it, if we could already watched or neighbor watched that we have. One of them original or it's stating that there is state laws for city laws that, right? New laws came out in January, first I knew was, but it was posted on, maybe your watch of what the new laws are. I'm not 100% sure, but I did see that, maybe it's a good idea that.
Yeah.
Everybody's on, you know.
It's a challenge. It's highly laborious for, it's a high resource. Yeah, it's But I think we're doing okay. Again, let me go in the back.
Talked to the police chief, in the spring, this is about stop signs. And, he said I have to talk to the council, but, I'm from San Leandro years ago. And I go up there every year, and they have bump mats in all the neighborhoods near parks and schools, and it has reduced, speeding. And, stop signs don't work. They have another challenge in the Bay Area here, it works. So I would ask you to bring that up with your council to try bump maps at certain roads with parks or schools or whatever, because that could slow down some of it. But the complete ignoring of stop signs is so dangerous for us as drivers, and it's unfair that we're put in such a situation. I don't know what you're gonna do about it.
It's tough. It's not a Gilroy problem.
It's everywhere.
It's a society problem. It's tough. I'm gonna move. Yeah, sure. We've talked about it before. Sure. Yeah. It's been brought up. It hasn't been at council level, but it's been brought up on the public works. So is it? Yeah, there's some challenges that come with it, but there's no reason why we can't keep having the conversation. I'm gonna jump to the next topic I had here. Sharks Ice is something that we talk about at every meeting, but we don't talk about it very much, right? Because I give an update about where we are with Sharks Ice or the Sharks Ice Center, Gilroy Ice Center. As a review, back in fall, we put together an ad hoc committee, 3 council members, so they can do a deeper dive and work directly with staff and the Sharks Ice folks to see if we can find a solution to one of the biggest challenges that we have in all public works right now, and that is construction costs, right? So that's something that I've said from the very, going way back, I always said, I can't imagine that construction costs aren't gonna be a problem. Now we understand that construction costs are a problem, right? So just a little bit of review. California has an index about construction costs, and the index in California of construction costs since the pandemic is up like 70%, right? So if something cost $100, it now costs $170. Imagine when we're in the millions. So those are some of the challenges that we're having. Mr. Klein is on the ad hoc committee, so maybe just a little bit extra.
We're just in that process of going back and forth and discussing the challenges, but how we can overcome those challenges. We're having great conversations about it. I'm encouraged. I always look at things as half full and not half empty, and we're getting close, and I think both sides are working hard to come to a resolution, kind of close that gap that we have, that funding gap. How will we be creative to make that happen, to make it work? Because I think we both see the value of Sharks Ice and Gilroy, and so we're not, as a council and as a city, we have to be due diligent with our funds, because our funds are limited in what we can do. But there's also a value to what Sharks Ice brings to us as a community. So it's just trying to find the way to close that gap, and we're working at that. I'm encouraged by that. The Sharks, it's a great organization, and so we're working hard together to try to bridge that out. Our staff, Arjo is leading it, and he understands it from a financial side. That's very helpful for, I'm just a glass guy. So my experience is limited around glass. So taking on this big stuff, it takes more. It takes the expertise of our staff and understanding the finances and how we can make that work long term, but also having the experts on with us too. It's very helpful to understand those things. So we're getting there. I think it's positive.
So public-private partnership,
Yes.
is it shared cost?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
50/50?
Well, not necessarily, because we had a deal. It was 30 million with the original paper, but the numbers are much more than that. So it's just finding that happy medium of that. We have the property, and they're going to run the project as far as run the facility and everything. So how we make that all work, that's where we're at, is basically coming to terms with that gap and making it work for both sides.
So property, right, you said public-private property partnership. The commitment by Gilroy is property
Yes.
and some infrastructure that would be related to that, that a lot of people would argue, we need that infrastructure anyway. Some lights, some paving, things like that. That's our commitment. That's our commitment.
Some capital costs on our part.
Sure.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with how this works in government. Is that amortized over some period of time, or do we have to put it all up front? How does that work?
Capital, from impact fees from developers, from development. They're just, it's in the impact fee.
So we're not borrowing
No,
money to build.
No, impact fee money.
But for the shark size, we're the ones that bond the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
And then they pay it back.
they pay it back.
And is there ROI associated with this?
Not for city of Gilroy. City of Gilroy would like this for economic development.
But that's ROI.
Yeah. Sure, but we're not, a return on investment. The city of Gilroy is not investing millions of dollars. It's the organization that's going to be running it. It's investing the money, right? We are not, right? Our goal, the reason why we want something like that in Gilroy is that it brings economic development. Like hotels, gas stores, restaurants, sales tax, things like that. I'm gonna go to Kelly next.
TOT.
So the other thing is, I had created, you know, a year and a half ago or so, relationship with the VP of Government Affairs with the Sharks. And he and I have continued to stay in touch. And in the fall of last year, you know, I'm not on the ad hoc, so I have nothing to do with the negotiations and things like that. But I just said, what is the investment you're making in the community outside of that? And so in that conversation, it led to me bringing together the VP of Government Affairs, the executive director of the Sharks Foundation, and Dr. Munshi from the superintendent of the school district, and a couple of her staff members. We just actually met for lunch on Thursday and talked about ways that they can collaborate. They already do have a program in 7 of the schools in Gilroy where they provide incentives to the existing reading programs that the teachers have. They give the kids Sharks tickets, they give them Sharks paraphernalia, you know, if they hit different milestones in their reading in the classrooms. But they also talked about one of the priorities that the foundation has is in wellness with children. So they talked about bringing in and supplementing some PE programs as well as possibly some wellness centers. And so there's some synergy around that. So the ROI, if you ask, is, you know, all of these things that the mayor just mentioned, but also the investment in our youth. And so I think that that's really important to acknowledge as well as they work further along that.
What's the gap? 30 million was planned, what's the gap now?
I think dollar wise, I think it's in the $15 million range in that sense.
Thank you.
Ron?
Perspective. Santa Cruz has a facility for basketball, I'm a lawyer, and it's well attended. People are very excited. I was spending stuff in March there in Morgan Hill. They have a semi-pro team, and they're doing well. They love it. So I'm very encouraged that we are having something like this similar to that in Gilroy, and I think it's going to be very, very good for our city in many different ways, revenue included.
I'm sorry, did you put your hand up in the black? Did you have your hand up? No. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I saw your hand go. Okay. Other comments on the Sharks? Did
I remember about 2 years ago at the Chamber Quarterly Luncheon at Cornwall, they mentioned that any cost overruns that the Sharks would cover that over our 30 million. Is that still the case?
That's what we're talking about right now. That's
Yeah.
where the discussion is around
They
that,
have
in terms of how we can make everything work. So, and the beauty of the Sharks, it is a organization that is very strong. It's financially very strong. And so beauty of getting that out there is not just Sharks Ice, but you have development for soccer fields. There's so many soccer fields that can go out there. That's part of the master plan there. And in order to do that, it's critical for that to happen. And, we get the soccer fields out there, then we can have baseball year round. So that's one of the cries about, we need to have baseball year round. So there's a lot that can happen. Really need to keep focused on making it work. So I think we're all in. I appreciate what Councilmember Ramirez is doing from that side of it, because it shows you they're all in our community, what they're doing already. So it's again, great organization. Can't say that enough.
Thank you. So if I read between the lines of your response, there's this gap. Where they probably don't want to have these in its entirety. So that would seem like there'll probably be some scale back whole plan. That the.
Well, no, I think we've been very. We want it to be a project that everyone's proud of. In the sense of the scale and scope that everyone can be proud of, not just right at this moment, but for the long term. And they see that too. So we're having some the discussions are very robust and very good about talking about both sides of things for both us as a city, but also them as an organization, what they're trying to do with their brand, because that's part of their brand. So I'm encouraged by it. So I think
The Sharks do have a number of other facilities.
Yes.
They have experience building these units.
Yes.
They're very capable and experienced in doing such things. So
Yeah.
they're where these hiccups that come along the way.
Well, I'll move on from the Sharks, but I will leave you with this. Before there was an ad hoc forum, I had a chance to chat with the Sharks folks. And they appeared to be as surprised at the construction costs as everyone else. It just has snuck up, right? And then you throw in the uneasiness of the international economy right now. I mean, the stuff that goes into a facility like that, it's steel from Canada, it's pipe fittings from Mexico. It's an international project, and that's why it costs so much.
Well, and they did a project in Florida. Costs there are much different than the costs in California. That's just the reality we live in. So that they're dealing with that too and trying to scale it. And it's really it's a challenge, but we're all up for the challenge. I can say that.
Well, speaking of that side of town, I know some questions that got brought up here before are about the paving on that side of town. We did a lot of paving last year, and we did not get to the paving on that side of town. So if you go south of the sports park there, you can see that it's very antiquated paving. And what we found out from that, I'll review it. We found out from that is there was some disagreement whether Caltrans, because Caltrans typically has the paving under any overpass, there's like a footprint. And what we found out is most of that responsibility falls on the city of Gilroy. And as far as I know, that there is a special paving project that is still planned for that area. We're not waiting for the next summer's paving project, that there's a special project planned for that area coming up in spring or very, very early summer. So I believe that is still on track. So it would be really nice to get that side of town to get that paving done. And I mean all the way underneath and all the way to the gas stations and stuff. So we're looking forward to that.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please.
The one thing the mobility partnership has brought up to Caltrans is the fact that we're diverting traffic now to Thomas Luchessa on the Monterey for people to get back on 101. So we've increased the traffic flow, which means the wear and tear on Monterey, even though we're improving it over the course of the project, that wear and tear is intensified. So we're asking for help funding wise to balance some of that wear and tear over time, maintenance aspect of it. So we're reminding them of that aspect of it.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you guys because the project this last year, you haven't come to my street yet, but but that's okay because I moved my car.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to have the streets improved and throughout the city.
Thank you.
Been a good project and
Thank you.
we're not in town a lot, so like we come home, we see them. It's like it just started yesterday to us.
Yeah.
And it's been great. So
Cool.
thank you.
I'm gonna go Diana and then Tom.
Since we're talking about Monterey Street, what is happening with the crosswalk at the senior apartments?
It's in the process.
Great question.
That's in the process. I think.
That's a great political answer. Yeah, I believe it's in design, right? So, okay,
Design.
back up. What Diana's talking about is there's a gateway, it's called Gateway Senior Housing on Monterey, northbound side. And the challenge with that project is that it got built years ago without access to sidewalks. right? And there's a lot of reasons why that happened. And so there's a grant, a grant that went out to receive funding to get a crosswalk from the Gateway Apartments across the street, one of those solar crosswalks, right? This has the flashing lights that you're starting to see more of around town. So that the folks can walk across the street and be on a sidewalk, and then there's walking all the way to 10th Street, right? It's in the design phase. We're not, I think the grant funding has slowed it down. I don't think the grant funding's in the bank. But there is intentions for that to happen still. This could be one of those situations that the development next door might come first and put all the sidewalk before the crosswalk goes in. Yeah.
So, but just so you know, people are crossing.
I know that. Yeah, it's not good.
We're aware of it.
It's not good. Yeah, it's not good. They've been to council. We have heard from them. Tom,
I have the last one.
yeah, uh-oh.
Talk about the issue of that road around the freeway. I had suggested that maybe we should have a pothole, pothole. Right, on. Since then.
Yeah.
I found one of those potholes, cost me $400 tire. And so I sent a note to Gilroy Connect. Took about 3 weeks, but they did finally go out and fill most of the big pots. Kudos to Gilroy Connect. But I wish they'd have done it, but it was.
I'm sorry. Speaking of capital infrastructure, pickleball, we talked about that a lot. We don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but that is in the final phases of design at Los Alamos Park. So pickleball for you pickleball fans, Los Alamos Park, the eastern side of Los Alamos Park is council had some very high hopes that we can get 6-court pickleball court to Los Alamos. We're waiting to hear about the cost. Yeah, lit up, right? Yeah, thank you. And so we're in the final design phase, and we should have an update on that at council fairly soon. Yes, sir.
What's the plan for the next, they're all full ways?
Yeah.
It's unusable.
Yeah. There's no immediate plans other than that it probably will not be a tennis court in the future. Yeah. Right. So what he's talking about, if anyone walks through El Roble Park had a tennis court. In modern planning of parks, that would probably never happen again. It's a tennis court that is about 15 feet from a bunch of backyards. And it could never be pickleball because of that reason, because of the noise from pickleball. And unfortunately, it was planted. There was a lot of ash trees that were planted nearby, and over the years, it's a surface rooting tree. It doesn't have a very good future, I don't believe. Yeah. Right.
Are the pickleball courts, are they converted to tennis?
No. Eastern side next to the dog park there, right there, right against the dog park. Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll balance out Los Alamos. Los Alamos gets a ton of use on the west side and a little bit less loose on the other side, and it'll be really nice balance to the park. Question.
You want more coffee?
No, I went and got some. Thank you very much. It's so good to me.
He doesn't.
Not only finds my credit cards, gets me coffee. Firehouse, update on Firehouse. Tom, very interested in that. Thank you. Firehouse is in what we're moving towards the construction design bid phase, right? This will be a design build type of project. And we are getting very, very close to the point where we will ask for our RFQ for qualified, interested contractors that can be part. When I say design build, the contractors part of design. That's typically known for a cost saving mechanism when we're building infrastructure. So we're close to that happening as well too. I think that's in the next month or so. You got a little update on that?
Yeah, the architect and the project manager, they're working together. Architect is working to get the documents, the architectural documents, basically merged together with the bid documents so that those can be presented RFQ to general contractors to bid on to be design build going forward. And that's supposed to happen, I believe, in the summer. So it will be selected in the summer, early fall, and hopefully shovel in the ground by, who knows, maybe the first of 27. So.
Thank you. I have 2 more things on my list. You may, if you come to a council meetings, if you watch the council meetings, a lot of talk about tobacco past 2 or 3 council meetings. So the council has decided to, a couple months ago, we decided to put a moratorium on tobacco retailers in the downtown corridor, right? Downtown corridor is, imagine about Luchessa to Leavesley area, right? But we put a moratorium on tobacco retailers, new tobacco retailers. That doesn't mean if you're there now that you get thrown out, but if you could not apply and expect to have a new tobacco retail in that area. When we did that, once we initiated that conversation about tobacco retailers in the downtown area, council was given a lot more information about tobacco retailers all around the city of Gilroy. And so we saw that information and we decided that it might be best to do a citywide moratorium on new tobacco retailers. So we made that, we had that action. It's an urgency ordinance, which means that the city of Gilroy has 45 days to come back with findings that justify having a pause on any new tobacco retailers in the whole entire city of Gilroy for 10 months while more research is done. So that's what's happening when it comes tobacco retailers around the city of Gilroy. Same thing. Tobacco retailers, there's been an expansion of different types of tobacco retailers. It's not limited to Gilroy. You can see it in every city that you go to. And we felt like it was time to hit the pause button on that expansion. It's like almost like we said about the bikes. The consumer products pass up our ordinances and ability to act quickly, but we feel like we're in a good spot now. Ron.
This ordinance is going to include lady products.
It's all tobacco products. All tobacco. It's all tobacco retailers, right? In different counties and different communities, sometimes have their own local laws regarding different types of tobacco products. I could hardly say it. There's so many of them. But flavored and vaping and all these different things. And that's why we would like a pause to figure out where are we? Right? Where are we? Right? In Gilroy, like for example, in Gilroy, like our ordinance on tobacco retailers, like a lot of our ordinances are kind of dated, right? The term smoke shop is not even in the vernacular of our ordinances because it's a relatively new name and new term. So those are the things that we're trying to catch up on. Okay, and finally, the last thing on my list, but not less important by any means, would be this conversation going on about Amazon Web Services data center that is currently scheduled to be built on the east side of 101 on a Royal Circle corridor. Right. So last week, some folks came in to do some public comment. Thank you for the nice public comment you guys did, and asked a lot of questions for city council. I'll be right with you. From city council and from our staff, and the public is clearly would like to know more information about the Amazon Web Services data center that's coming to Gilroy. And there are questions about water and power and pollution and noise and things like that. So I'd like to open up the floor, to questions about Amazon Web Services data center. And I'll start with Britt, of course. She is the one leading the charge on this conversation. Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Britt. I've been posting all over Facebook, Instagram, next door. So I'm very interested in this project. And I just want to take a moment to thank the council and city staff for putting together a very comprehensive fact sheet that has distilled almost 600 pages of an environmental impact report, hundreds of pages of water reports, a 92-page architecture approval plan. Having this synthesized, I think, is really big for our community to better understand what's coming up. I had some initial questions, but hearing you mention specifically consumerism passing sort of our rules and regulations, and sort of thinking of dated ordinances and how consumer-facing tech, and specifically AI, has changed so much in just the last few years. So even though that, and again, the fact sheet goes into when this really all kicked off, which was July 2020. So this has been obviously a long time in the works. So I'm curious how, we can, as a community, how can we work with the community and the council and the government to get our ordinances in a better place for either public, publication of the projects of
Yeah.
like this or of a similar scale.
Sure.
Or also how things like this could come before council, should maybe come before council.
Yeah, I'll let Kelly, I'm gonna let Kelly, ex-planning commissioner, council member Kelly Ramirez. And I'd like you to help out with that.
Okay,
question.
so, I so appreciate this, right? I love the engagement, and let me tell you something. My friends have been texting me on 3 different text threads for the last, and there, several of them are in this room, so, yeah, I have been, inundated with questions. So, I encourage them to attend today because I did not want to get into all this on a text thread. But first thing, before I get to that, and in case my brain doesn't come back to it, just remind me. I do want to just clear up something. When I sit on the dais, it's really, really hard for me to sit and listen when things are implied that staff has done things without any care because there is the misconception that they do not live in town when in fact they do own homes in town. Or that they're trying to sneak something by because it happened on a certain date or something. I will tell you right now that our director of community services is probably the hardest working staff member in City Hall. She's the first one here, the last one to go. She is probably working right now. And she is invested in this community as a homeowner. Anytime there is any kind of an event downtown, you're guaranteed to see her there supporting it. So I just want to make sure that that you understand that we have quality staff here that don't try to, you know, there's the companies that know of harmful things and they hide it. This is not the case. Okay. So I just wanted to say that real quick. When this all came up, Councilmember Carol Marks and I had a conversation and we looked at the code and we realized that perhaps there should be an improvement to the code, the way it is currently written. The director of community services did exactly as the law required of her. Whether she likes personally this project or not, doesn't matter, right? There is a process that is in place that legally she has to abide by. AWS came in and they did the process exactly as it is stated in our code. And so she went along through the process and approved as the code states. Is there a possibility of improving that code and changing the language that would then put the brakes and pause and possibly require it to go to planning commission and then to council? Yeah, we believe there is, and we've reached out to our city attorney about that possibility. And I think that it will be coming up before council probably sometime this year. But right now, it was done exactly as it is stated in our code. And there was not any kind of secrecy around it or any kind of malicious intent around it. It was just the way it is. Now, there's a lot.
How about where they can, you know, she said, what can they do? What can the community do?
Here's what I would highly recommend. I would suggest that you engage with AWS.
Yeah.
And the way it is now, AWS has no intent of creating these as AI data centers. But to be very honest, they have the opportunity if they want to.
Yeah.
The way the code is set, they do not need to come back for any kind of permission. They don't need to anything. Right now, our understanding is these are just storage data centers. They're not AI data centers. So if you're concerned about it becoming an AI data center, it's not anything the city can do, but it is something that you can, as a community, engage with AWS and try to discourage that. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to respond.
Yeah.
I know that in my public comment, I mentioned a few members of city staff, and I in no way wanted to imply that they were not doing their jobs or not following the code. I was simply pulling information from the Gilroy Dispatch newspaper, different articles over time. So the information that I was going off of was from public record, whether that be the Dispatch or the city website. So-
whether it's correct or not.
Sure, yes.
So but I want to comment, and I'm gonna get to the question, but so you asked specifically, what can you do?
Yeah.
Right? Do what you're doing, get involved, really,
Yeah.
and like, what, like you mentioned, like, we're talking about the code, right?
Yeah.
What's our code, Gary, code, 1980? What? Yeah, it's 1981, when it was, the code that we're dealing with now, I think it's old.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Many
old,
years
so-
is what I've.
So, hey, look here, yeah, it's older than you. Here's your chance, right? It's an election year, right? People are running for office. This is a great topic of conversation for anybody running for office and for any sitting member of council isn't it a little time to relook at the code, right? So get involved. That's a great way to get involved.
And I'm not running for reelection, but I've already started that conversation.
I'm gonna jump back here, then I have a question. Go here.
So, my department, get all this, the mass.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we're I think the city can do a better job of contexting this, like going online, you look at the map, it's hard to know where it actually be placed in the city.
Yeah.
And I moved here in 2001. So I think we can put a little more information out of those documents in terms of to where things are. I'm having a hard time finding the information on this, how much water we're using, all this. Again, I'm a PhD ecologist, I worked at Tesla. I'm modeling them, I am in one sense, you have with the map, so very simple, the challenges.
Yeah.
Space. And even in the Gilroy Dispatch, they ask questions and Amazon never got back to them. And that's it, so when you call us to engage the Amazon.
Yeah.
Boom, bye.
Yeah.
They're not gonna talk to you.
But the fact that this is getting brought up, I think that you're gonna start seeing an improved information on our website and coming out of the city of Gilroy. So you're already making a difference. We go-
New document that was published yesterday.
Okay, so you already got it, good. Yeah, and that document really summarizes quite well. It's probably not perfect, but summarizes quite well.
It's a
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful story.
Yeah, go ahead.
Down the road, data center build.
Yeah.
For in a drought.
Yeah.
And are they, do we know any parameters for holding them? Since the Gilroy are asking people serve.
Yeah.
And a certain amount of water.
Yeah.
Their water, unfortunately, is used for evaporation, drop it
Yeah.
back in the ground. Do you know if your code is gonna, answer any of that?
All of the studies, the way I understand it, right? The way I understand it is, all of the studies that go into projects like this, they're not gonna be any different than any other business or any other homeowner in Gilroy. When it's time to cut water to those areas that where we ask to get cut water, they would ask to get cut as well. But what people need to know, and you'll see in this new fact sheet, is just, there was some talk last week about billions and gallons. That is not true, right? So I believe the amount of water that's gonna be used by this site when it's fully built out, right, is equivalent to 50 homes in Gilroy, not 5,000 homes and not 10,000 homes like what was implied the other day.
Documented to you, but they're.
It's part of the CEQA process, right? When all these projects come to any community and they have to go through the, the California Environmental Quality Act process, right? So if not everybody knows about that, CEQA is the nemesis of development, right? It is a rigorous process, right? And I trust what comes out of the facts that come out of that. And the facts are that they're not using the water that's been implied.
20,500 gallons per day, according to the fact.
Right.
So, and let me just kind of touch on.
And
the
then I'm
CEQA
gonna jump to the
process.
back again. Okay, so go ahead, Kelly.
So, there was also an implication made with regards to, AWS paid for the CEQA. That is standard, okay? The CEQA, these environmental studies are extremely expensive. The city's not gonna pay for them. If a development comes in and they want to develop something and the CEQA is required, it is incumbent upon them to pay for it. But CEQA is They can't influence the results of CEQA. And so,
It's the new city,
Yes.
the city hires the consultants.
yes, and yes, so, these are environmentalists that study it, and they'll raise issues. They'll say, you know, there's a concern about this, a concern about this, a concern about this. Then the developer has to look at those concerns and say, this is how we're going to mitigate those environmental concerns. And if they cannot do that, the project is denied. And a project can be denied if a developer cannot mitigate those concerns that are raised during the CEQA process.
Great. In the back again?
Say, the city did that, we had an EIR with Paul Myers, from Salem. And it was litigated on laws, but as a city, this is going to stop. And then when we did the envisioning for high speed rail, we hired a consulting firm. I attended a meeting where they showed the overpasses and how they looked. But reading through their documents, all the track was supposed to have 16-foot walls. But none of those were in the documentation that the city's consultants hired. So the information presented was consistent high-speed rail agreement in that meeting. So my concern on these EIRs for the cost and the rigor and everything is gathered there. But we've had, my experience, I've seen 2 efforts where the contract was retired in 6 of the city. So I have some concerns on this one too.
Ron had his hand up.
I'm a product of technology, Silicon Valley. Back in the 60s, I worked at the Fairchild, Intel, and I was a semiconductor engineer for Qualcomm. And I grew up with technology. This is technology increasing here in this country. Another chance. We've lost the semiconductor. What else can we replace it with? I'm not against improving technology and issues like this, but often mitigate some of the issues like the water and the power. And that can, but we have a environmental that tries to stop everything. And I have problems. We need water. We need water despite what we have. Despite this, we need electricity. We've actually gone backwards in electricity. We used to have natural gas from top, and we have figured that out. I think I'm a conservative. I am not a climate change we have to be careful with what we do. But you know, I started when we had transcendence. I mean, and this was big. I started when we had digital watches. I started when we wasn't transiting to computers. I'm one way person.
Let's get back to the data center, Ron. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's okay. That's okay. Yeah, you made your point.
We have to keep going forward, or this valley is going to die, and it's been done.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity to get back to improving technology, but we practically done.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Thank you, Ron.
I just want to say, I thought this was a very local issue. This is not a local issue. This is a countrywide issue. I have friends who live in Tucson. Tucson, Arizona recently voted against the building of an AI center by Amazon. I thought it was the city council, but I believe it was the board of supervisors overrode that election result. Also, Amazon withdrew from that project. It's no longer going to be an Amazon project. There's another company. But this isn't just us and Gilroy. And it isn't just us and Gilroy who are concerned, we want to call it concerned, who have been researching. And as far as public information out there, just last night, there was somebody on our favorite next door who just heard of it today. That was yesterday. So there's not a lot of the Gilroy Dispatch, not people read the Gilroy Dispatch anymore. GPD puts out things all the time on Facebook, so we learn what's happening. But that's the concern, is that until last week, I had no clue about this, so it's a big concern.
I'm gonna go Sylvia.
It also isn't just us.
Yeah, you're right. Sylvia.
I think, being an all-time Gilroy and going through a lot of different things, and even one must always remember that the city and the community and its workers and, everyone that encompasses it, they do things to benefit the city, and so clear communication and education is extremely important. But we all need to work together. We all need to be respectful of one another. But realistically, the communication and the education of whatever project is going on is so important. And if one does not understand, then understand, get involved and understand. Don't say Susie over here is doing what she's not supposed to do, or Gary over there is not. Get involved and do something about it. And you will see what it encompasses. But clear communication and education is so important.
Thank you, Sylvia. I one in the back.
Guys, I know, this goes into law. That's what you're saying?
They call it's called by right? Based on the code that the city of Gilroy had, the code allows for certain type of development, whether it's a donut shop. No,
No,
that's not the code. Yeah, no. But a data center is allowed.
They said they're gonna put in a stake in there. And it became something else, and they lost the fact that they were supposed to be getting.
I don't know about Hollis. Yeah.
They're supposed to be put in, like it was first center and became. Something else, and we lost out. They were supposed to get tax revenue.
Oh, I see your point. Go ahead. And I'd like to make a point. We have hit the hour mark, so go ahead.
So what's the projected revenue of the project as it is today without modification to the city if it's fully realized?
I don't know. What the most of our revenue will be on property tax and any ancillary expenses from the economy around it. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So,
We'll go to Kelly first and then we'll go.
you know, basically it is the developmental fees that we will be get impact fees and then, property taxes. But also, I want to point out that AWS for the last 3 years has been, investing $100,000 in the community through their grant program. I know that I personally I was the president of Rotary and wrote a grant for AWS, and we were given that grant, and adaptive down at the park. I'm having
Donald
Prieta Park, we put inclusive adaptive playground equipment there. Then recently, this past year, our Rotary wrote a grant. We are planting 100, it's our 100-year anniversary, so we planted 100 trees, put a bunch of benches under the trees at all of the schools in Gilroy Unified. And we have, I think, $60,000 or $40,000 going towards purchasing the books for all 14 libraries. And AWS supported that grant as well as many. So those were, one of many grants throughout the community for the last 3 years. So they are also trying to be a good neighbor and support the community. So they're kind of ancillary investments in the community as well, other than just the property tax revenues.
Go ahead, Britt.
Just quoting from the fact sheet that was published yesterday, quote, "The project will increase property tax from development of the property." That is the bullet point.
Yeah.
Finally, I would like to just add that I'm organizing a teach-in, so that way we can learn more about data centers and how people can get involved. So if you'd like to be involved in that, stay tuned or come to me after the meeting.
Yeah, and one more final question in the back.
Property tax, who actually owns property?
AWS.
Amazon Web Services.
Yeah.
They bought.
So back to what can you do, right? We have old codes in this community, right? And if you have concerns about data centers, if you think that's going to be the only one that's asking to come to Gilroy, we're the ones with land in South Santa Clara County. So keep at it, really.
Sign up for the city's newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, nobody not caught or.
Get informed, get educated.
Okay, let's go to the last question right here.
Thank you. So I spent my evening reading the fact sheet, their environmental report, the water, and it is a lot of information. My learning curve this week has been like very steep. And I'm overwhelmed with technicalities. But one of the things that is a little bit concerning to me is, do we have a binding timeline for the recycled water conversion? So what I understand, and I don't know if you know this right now, such as, it's familiar in my mind. Phase one is actually going to be required potable water from the sea, right? That's phase one.
Correct.
Phase two, it goes to recyclable water. But do we have actually a binding timeline? Because we don't have.
No, we do, I don't believe it's binding. I'm gonna tell you what I believe, not what I know.
Yeah.
I don't believe we have a binding timeline, but I'll give everyone a little bit of background of what you're talking about on the recycled water, right? So Gilroy has the South County wastewater site here, and we produce thousands and thousands and thousands of acre feet of recycled water. That's the stuff in the purple pipes, right?
Yeah.
And the purple pipe makes it to certain parts of Gilroy, and it does not make it to other parts of Gilroy. It makes it much to the west side, makes it all the way to Gilroy Golf Course, and many places in between. And on the east side, it makes it to behind Target. There's a building behind Target. It's called UNFI. It's a big giant warehouse. It makes it that far, and that's as far as it gets. The idea is that purple pipe is going to make it all the way to the AWS within the next couple of years to be ready for any future expansion. So they would convert from potable to non-potable. That's what you're talking about. Is there a binding timeline? No, there's not. Because there's other agencies involved. It's not just City of Gilroy that manages the non-potable lines that leave Gilroy. It's Valley Water. There's a lot of agencies that are involved. But I don't have an expectation that is something that is going to be held up or get forgotten just because now it's built. There's a need to get non-potable water out. And to be quite honest with you, I mean, Gilroy sells it. City of Gilroy and Valley Water sell it. So we want to get it there. Right. So but I believe that will happen in a timely fashion.
Although it's not quite.
No, not as far as I know. Yeah. Okay, we have hit 10:30. Thank you guys so much for coming. Have another donut. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Kim. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.